coming to you live, well, me anyway, in Laconia Public Library, where the Wi-Fi is strong, and the books are free, and they got a good selection here. I don't have to worry about bringing them home and figuring out how I'm going to ever post a video when I can just do it here. I use a room here that usually during the day no one reserves these, so it's just first come, first serve. You can reserve them ahead of time, but I don't do that kind of thing. I'm too spontaneous. Hope I don't burst into spontaneous combustion. I'm on chapter 3 of Tobacco Road. I started reading The Wayward Bus yesterday, but I had to stop during the first chapter because the library was closing. So I have to finish reading that chapter. I have to review it, though, to see exactly where I was. Anyway, chapter 3 of Tobacco Road. I don't have my readers, so forgive me if I have some troubles because I have to squint. Chapter 3. And I can chat and stuff, you know what I mean? I'll chat. Erskine, Caldwell. When was this written, I think? 1932. This is by Laughing Dogs Press in Levelland, Texas, 79336. Hey, Alex. Good evening. It is, I don't know what time it is here. I really need to get myself like a regular watch because I haven't figured out. Maybe Genevieve can tell me how to do a live stream. I should talk to her. I have her email. Hey, Tammy. I did 10 p.m. It's afternoon here, Alex. I did chapter 2. I did chapter 2 yesterday, I think. Excuse me. I did chapter 2 yesterday, and then I started reading another book by Steinbeck, but I didn't even finish the first chapter, but I can read 2 books at the same time. Why not? Here's my bookmark. Brought some snacks this time. I wish there was a way for it to not be mirrored like that. You'd think they would have had that figured out by now. All right, here we go. Chapter 3. Jeter's reiterated and insistent plea for turnips was having less and less effect upon Love. He was not aware that anyone was talking to him. He was interested only in Ellie Mae now. Ellie Mae's straining for love, ain't she? Dude said, nudging Jeter with his foot. She's liable to bust a gut if she don't look out. The inner tube Jeter was attempting to patch again was on the verge to falling into pieces. Hey, who is this? I actually wasn't kicking around. I went into hiatus mode. But yeah, I started kicking again. For sure. Shadow Band. I like your name. I don't know how I know you or if I know you or what, but welcome. I'm reading Tobacco Road, Chapter 3, Erskine, Caldwell. The inner tube Jeter was attempting to patch again was on the verge of falling into pieces. The tires themselves were in a condition even more rotten. And the Ford car, 14 years old that year, appeared as if it would never stand together long enough for Jeter to put the tire back on the wheel, much less last until it could be loaded with blackjack from a trip to Augusta. The touring car's top had been missing for 7 or 8 years, and the one remaining fender was linked to the body with a piece of rusty baling wire. All the springs and horsehair had disappeared from the upholstery. The children had taken the seats apart to find out what was on the inside, and nobody had made an attempt to put them together again. Fam? Soul fam? The appearance of the automobile had not been improved by the dropping off of the radiator in the road somewhere several years before, and a rusty lard can with a hole punched in the bottom was wired to the water pipe on top of the engine in its place. The lard can failed to fill the need for a radiator, but it was much better than nothing. When Jeter got ready to go somewhere, he filled the lard pail to overflowing, jumped in, and drove until the water splashed out of the engine and the engine locked up with heat. That happened to me in 2003. He would get out and then look for a creek so he could fill the pail again. The whole car was like that. Chickens had roosted on it when there were chickens at the Lesters to roost, and it was speckled with guinea hen. Now that there were no chickens on the place, no one had ever taken the trouble to wash it off. Jeter had never thought of doing such a thing, and neither had any of the others. Ellie Mae had dragged herself one end of the yard to the opposite side. She was now within reach of Love, where he sat by his sack of turnips. She was bolder, too, than she had ever been before, and she had Love looking at her and undisturbed by the sight of her hair lip. Ellie Mae's upper lip had an opening a quarter of an inch wide that divided one side of her mouth into unequal parts. The slit came to an abrupt end almost under her left nostril. The upper gum was low, and because her gums were always fiery red, the opening in her lip made her look as if her mouth were bleeding profusely. Jeter had been saying for 15 years that he was going to have Ellie Mae's lips sewed together, but he had not yet got around to doing it. Oh yeah, man. Flat accord music. Of course I remember that. I would have remembered flat accord music if that was your name now. Good night, Alex. Sweet dreams. Sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. Thanks for popping in too. It's good to see you. Good to see your little blue icon, or whatever they call those things. Dude picked up a piece of rotted weatherboard that had been knocked from the house and threw it at his father. He did not take his gaze from Ellie Mae and Love, however. Their actions and Ellie Mae's behavior held him spellbound. You still making music, fam? What do you want now, Jude? Jeter said. What's the matter with you, chunking weatherboarding at me like that? Ellie Mae's horsing, Dude said. Jeter glanced across the yard where Love and Ellie Mae were sitting close together. The trunk of a chinaberry tree partly obscured his view of all that was taking place, but he could see that she was sitting on Love's outstretched legs, astride his knees, and that he was offering her a turnip from the sack beside him. Ellie Mae's horsing, ain't she, Pa? Dude said. I reckon I done the wrong thing by marrying Pearl to Love, Jeter said. Pearl just ain't made up to be Love's woman. She don't take no interest in Love's wants, and she don't give a cuss what nobody thinks about it. She ain't the kind of gal to be a wife to Love. She's queer. I reckon somehow she wants to be going to Augusta, like the other gals done. None of them ever was satisfied staying here. They ain't like me, because I think more of the land than I do about staying in a darn cotton mill. You can't smell no sedge fire up there, and when it comes time to break the land for planting, you feel sick inside, but you don't know what's ailing you. People has told me about that spring sickness in the mills, and I don't know how many times. But when a man stays on the land, he don't get to feeling like that this time of year, because he's right here to smell the smoke of burning broom sedge and to feel the wind fresh off the plowed fields going down inside of his body. So instead of feeling sick and not knowing what's wrong down in his body, as it happens in the darn mills, out here on the land, a man feels better than he ever did. The springtime ain't going to let you fool it by hiding away inside a darn cotton mill. It knows you got to stay on the land to feel good. That's because humans made the mills. God made the land. But you don't see him building darn cotton mills. That's how I know better than to go up there like the rest of them. I stay where God made a place for me. Good, fam. I'm glad to hear that. I'm so out of the loop. I just do silly things, and I started back into activism recently. I'm going to get creative about it, but I'm also going to do stuff that makes me feel good. Like super gluing nickels to the sidewalk. Stuff like that. You still friends with Richard, fam? Ceiling Fan Man? I don't even know if I'm subscribed to his channels. I don't get notifications from him or anybody anymore. But I don't really go onto YouTube unless it's music. There's no real channels that I follow. Although John Levy, who does a show every Sunday on Tartaria, I do watch him from time to time. Yeah. Ellie Mae's acting like she was Love's woman, dude said. Ada shifted the weight of her body from one foot to the other. She was standing in the same place on the porch that she had been when Love first came into the yard. She had been watching Love and Ellie Mae for a long time without looking anywhere else. Maybe God intended it for it to be such, Jeter said. Maybe he knows more about it than us mortals do. God is a wise old somebody. You can't fool him. He takes care of little details us humans never stop to think about. That's why I ain't leaving the land and going to Augusta to live in a darn cotton mill. He put me here, and he ain't never told me to get off and go up there. That's why I'm staying on the land. If I was to haul off and go to the mills, it might be hell to pay. Coming and going. God might get mad because I done it and strike me dead. Or on the other hand, he might let me stay there until my natural death, but hound me all the time with little devilish things. That's the way he makes his punishment sometimes. He just lets us stay on, slow-like, and hounding us every step until we wish we was a long time dead and in the ground. That's why I ain't going to the mills with a big rush like all them other folks around Fuller did. They got up there, and all of them has a mighty pain inside for the land, but they can't come back. They got to stay now. That's what God's done to them for leaving the land. He's going to hound them every step they take until they die. Look at that horsing Ellie Mae's doing, dude said. That's horsing from way back yonder. By God and by Jesus, Love, Jeter shouted across the yard. What about them there turnips? Has they got them damn blasted green-gutted worms in them like mine had? I had been wanting some good-eating turnips since way back last spring. If Captain John hadn't sold off his mules and shut off letting me get guano on his credit, I could have raised me a whopping big mess of turnips this year. But when he sold the mules and moved to Augusta, he said he wasn't going to ruin himself by letting us tenants break him and buying guano on his credit in Fuller. He said there wasn't no sense in trying to run a farm no more. 50 plows or one plow. He said he could make no more money out of farming by not running plows, and that's why we ain't got no snuff and rations no more. Ada says she's just bound to have a little snuff now and then because it sort of staves off hunger, as it does at that. Every time I sell a load of wood, I get about a dozen jars of snuff, even if I ain't got the money to buy a real meal and meat, because snuff is something a man is just bound to have. When I has a sharp pain in the belly, I can take a little snuff and not feel hungry all the rest of the day. Snuff is a powerful help to keep a man living. Friday nights. Yeah, I noticed that, and it was almost divine intervention for me to drop out, but I had a lot of shit going on. I'm going to tell my story eventually, but I have to do it in parts because I can't do a long live stream because I don't know who watches a long live stream. I don't watch them. I just can't sit in on them. And I don't know. People don't go back and see. So it's like, do I tell my story and hope people watch it? Because no, I mean, I'm going to have to go on to a larger channel. And I do have a couple things. I have a podcast I'm going to be on early May called Bizarre Encounters, where I'm going to talk about a Sasquatch experience. And then I have this guy I met through work. He's got a channel called Skinwalker Land. He actually has like this land that he goes and has like all these experiences and stuff. I don't know where it's at. Maybe Texas. Anyway, I'm really reluctant to tell my story here on my channel. But I've been under demonic attack and possession, and I have been, I think, most of my life, but it's only recently within the last few months that I've realized what was going on. They told me I was schizophrenic. I went to the hospital. I believed them. That's not what happened whatsoever. I was hearing demons. I saw a dragon. I disappeared one night, and when I broke down, yada, yada, that's when I was hospitalized. I was awake for 3 months straight. People want to argue with me to say that I would die if that was true. And it's like, listen, if you're going to argue with me about my own experience, I don't have time for you. I did not hear about Julie of Plain Truth. Tell me about her or him. Oh shit, did I lose my spot? But I couldn't raise no turnips this year. I didn't have no mule, and I didn't have no guana. All I had, a few measly little rows out there in the field. But a man can't run no farm unless he's got a mule to plow it with. Excuse me. A hoe ain't no good except to chop cotton with, and corn. Ain't no sense in trying to grow turnips with a hoe. I reckon that's why them damn blasted green-gutted worms got into them turnips. I didn't have no mule to cultivate them with. That's why they was all wormy. Hey, Dot Dot. I'm reading a book. And I'm chatting. It's half and half. This is what Allie B does. And I haven't watched her in a long time, but I guess it's been a while since she's done stories. Anybody know Allie B? A-L-I, the letter B. Sorry, I got this stimming that I do, like autistic people do, because I have this weird pain in my neck all the time. I have all this stuff happening to my body physically that nobody knows what it is. And I should probably take a guess that it's smart dust or something like that. Back to chapter 2 if I was there. Yeah, Allie B, she's great. She would read the most amazing books. And she would do like I'm doing, reading multiple books at the same time. See, I haven't read a book in probably 5 years. So I thought, why not do it on YouTube where I have like people and connect to people again? Because I was in isolation since 2023. And like, I wasn't reading books then either because I was having all these amazing experiences. I get all this junk in my pocket. I'm trying to make myself more comfortable because it's heavy. Have you been paying attention to what I was saying, love? You ain't never answered me about them turnips yet. So Jeter is the father of Love's wife, Pearl. Pearl's 12 years old. Love is a grown man. And they're in the South. I don't know what state this is or anything, but maybe they said earlier. Let's go back and see. My memory's awful. I don't think they say. It's 1937. Oh, so Jeter is hounding Love for turnips because Love has turnips and nobody else has any food. You ain't never answered me about them turnips yet. I got a powerful gnawing in my belly for turnips. I reckon I like winter turnips just as bad as that nigger likes watermelons. I can't see no difference between the two ways. Turnips is about the best eating I know about. Love did not look up. He was saying something to Ellie Mae and listening to what she was saying. Love had always told Jeter that he would never have anything to do with Ellie Mae because she was a hairlip. At the time, he made a bargain with Jeter about Pearl. He said he might consider taking Ellie Mae if Jeter would take her to Augusta and get a doctor to sew up her mouth. Jeter had thought the matter over thoroughly and decided that it would be best to let Love take Pearl, because the cost of sewing up that hairlip would probably amount to more than he was getting out of the arrangement. Letting Love take Pearl. Sorry, I don't have my readers. Letting Love take Pearl was then all clear profit to Jeter. Love had given him some quilts and nearly a gallon of cylinder oil, beside giving him all of a week's pay, which was $7. The money was what Jeter wanted more than anything else, but the other things were badly needed too. Jeter had been intended to take Ellie Mae to a doctor ever since she was there. No. Jeter had been intending to take Ellie Mae to a doctor ever since she was 3 or 4 years old, so that when a man came to marry her, there would be no drawbacks. But with first one thing and then another thing turning up every now and then, Jeter had never been able to get around to it. Someday he would take her, though, he told himself that, every time he had occasion to think about it. At the time, Love had married Pearl. He said he liked Ellie Mae more than he did her, but that he did not want to have a wife with a hair. Oh, my phone's ringing. What do? I ignore it is what I do. Oh my God, it's... Oh my God. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to come back. Hey, I'm live again. Did you guys hear that? I don't know how that worked, but I'm back. I don't know if that I was on... That was weird. Did you guys just hear that whole conversation? That'd be kind of cool. I have no idea where I was. Let me know. Now I'm a little embarrassed. I have no reason to be. I wasn't like talking sexually, was I? I can't even remember. All right, let's see here. All right, give me a second. Did I turn the page? All right. Excuse me. At the time, Love had married Pearl. He said he liked Ellie Mae more than he did her, but that he did not want to have a wife with a hairlip. He knew the Negroes would laugh at him. That was the summer before. Several weeks before, he had begun to like Pearl so much that he was doing everything he could to think of making her stop sleeping on a pallet on the floor. Pearl's long yellow curls hanging down her back and her pale blue eyes turned Love's head. He thought there was not a more beautiful girl anywhere in the world, and for that matter, no man had ever had the opportunity of seeing Pearl had ever gone away thinking the same thing. It would have been impossible for her to dress herself or even disfigure herself in a way that would make her plain or ordinary looking. She became more beautiful day by day. Oh, thanks, Tammy. Yeah, I get a phone call. I don't know what happened. Did it just go to blank screen and muted? That's interesting. I didn't think I was going to... I'm glad I took it, though, because it was an important call, and my voicemail doesn't work, which... It's not because of anything but my own ignorance. I don't know how to do stuff. It's very difficult for me to even start this live. You should see the things I go through to just, like, start it. I guess it's probably regular, though. I mean, everybody has to do the same thing. But I'm going to put a bookmark in this for a second and have a snack. Oh. What's the weather like, Tammy? It's very cold and raw and wet here, but the sun is trying to come out. It stopped raining, so there's that. Your signal sucks. I wonder if you can even hear me, if it's worth it. I haven't really gone back to look at the videos. I should, but if they're poor quality, I don't even think I should continue. But it doesn't hurt to just leave them up there. I really regret deleting all my content. All right. But I wish I had my glasses. But Love's wishes were unheeded. Pearl, if it was possible, was more determined than ever by that time to keep away from him. And now that Ellie Mae had dragged herself all the way across the yard and was now sitting on his legs, Love was thinking only of Ellie Mae. Aside from her hair lip, Ellie Mae was just as desirable as the next girl a man would find in the sandhill country surrounding the town of Fuller. Love was full aware of that. He had tried them all, white girls and black. Love ain't thinking about no turnips, Dude said in reply to his father. Love's wanting to hang up with Ellie Mae. He don't care nothing about the way her face looks now. He ain't aiming to kiss her. Ain't nobody going to kiss her. But that ain't saying nobody wouldn't fool with her. I heard niggers talking about it not long ago down the road at the old cotton mill. They said she could get all the men she wanted if she would keep her face hid. Quit chunking that there ball against that old house, Jeter said angrily. You'll have the wall worn clear in two if you don't stop doing that all the time. The old house ain't going to stand up much longer now, way. The way you chunk that ball, it's going to pitch over and fall on the ground some of these days, I declare. I wish you had more sense than you got. Yeah, I know, Tammy. It's one of those things where it's just like... So I thought I was going to get raptured in 2023. I was having these... Maybe it's okay for me to talk a little bit about my experience here and there. It was March 2nd, 2023. I thought I was either going to get A, raptured, or B, plunged into hell. Because I was getting visions, mental visions of hell. And they were very disturbing, very dark. I don't even want to repeat them. I'll repeat them on another channel, but not on my own. But I was like I was seeing things like visions and stuff of what it was like. And I was smelling sulfur. They would give me, and salt burnt my skin if it touched me. And it was just this one specific day. It's very creepy. Yeah, don't be like anyone else, Tammy. Just be like Tammy Lynn. That's all. Yeah, so I didn't want... I was afraid of going to hell, so I thought maybe I would appease the demons if I had deleted my content because it was against the demons, you know? But that was fear, you know, and that's not usually how I work. But then again, I did see some scary, scary stuff. People think I'm crazy, and, you know, they're half right, but I don't know. 2023 was nuts, but 2020 was stupid. So it was a progression because my activism was just like, I hung it up. I started my activism in 2006, and I did a lot of creative things. And then I hung it up because I went down a dark road, and that's not me. And then I hung it up for a while, but then 2020 happened, and I was like, I can't just let this happen. I don't remember a lot of that time. I mean, I remember some. I don't remember a lot of my... I wish I had more... like a recollection and recall of the videos because I could just like redo them, you know? And I had room on my other phone because I had a work phone that had like unlimited storage. This I'm already full and I have to clear the caches out twice a day. And I'm still at 100%. And I don't even have that many apps. Most of it is just system crap, you know, for my Motorola phone. That takes it up and you can't delete it. It's part of the phone. So I had this app called InShot where I could make videos and stuff. And I had some really good times just creating content, you know? It was fun. Whether it was a music video or like one of my things. Like I remember doing that Booster Blitz. I remember the Booster Blitz video where it was the Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. And I was going, that was the music playing over this news article of New Hampshire. They were doing boosters for the freaking Schmovid shots. And I made a link between these two ads that came up during that article of the Booster Blitz. One was a lightning truck, like an electric truck by Ford. And another one was just like this guy had this lightning bolt thing over his head, like a light bulb, like an idea, but it was an ad for something. I don't know what it was. But like I broke it down and like the etymological term, you know, the origin of Blitz was like the Blitzkriegs in Nazi Germany and stuff. And the link between the two. Yeah, I don't remember, Tammy. I wish I did. The old grandmother came hobbling out of the field with the sack of dead twigs on her back. She shuffled her feet through the deep sand of the tobacco road and scuffed them over the hard sand of the yard, looking neither to the right nor the left. At the bottom of the front steps, she dropped the load from her shoulders and sat down to rest a while before going to the kitchen. Her groans were louder than usual, and she began rubbing her sides. Sitting on the bottom steps with her feet in the sand and her chest almost touching her sharp knees, she looked more than... Justin Gilbert just sent a photo. He was a friend of mine in middle school. I get these notifications. I don't know if they're real annoying for you or not, but I can read them. Maybe I'll read them to you guys. I just did. She looked more than ever like a loosely tied bag of soiled black rags. She was unmindful of the people around her, and no one was more than passingly aware that she had been anywhere or had returned. If she had gone to the thicket and had not returned, no one would have known for several days that she was dead. I don't know about that, Tammy. I don't know about that. I know about the things I saw. I had a relationship with Sasquatch for like 2.5, 3 years. I can't remember exactly, but I had some deep moments and a couple deeper moments when I ate mushrooms and stuff with them. You remember that video? Maybe you don't, but I made a video where I lightly touched this water in this quarry. In the vibration of it, the ripples that I made just by touching it was insane. I created like waves just by tapping, not even tapping, just like lightly putting my finger in the water. So what's going on with these black and white lights? See lights? You see lights? I was scared, yeah. I don't know about black and white stripes though. I did see, so during I saw 2 times during my experiences when I kind of went off the deep end, I would see a blue frame, like a perfect rectangle with right angles, like this. Blue, like electric blue, you know what I mean? I don't have anything, well, like this. Blue, like very blue. Or like that number 3, or is that purple? I'm slightly colorblind, so they say. I saw that twice driving. It was almost like going through a portal or a door. Like, very hard to describe. Some ascension shit. Jeter watched Love from the corner of his eyes while he tried to make another patch stick to the cracked rubber inner tube. He had noticed that Love was several yards from the sack of turnips, and he waited patiently while the distance grew more and more each minute. Love had forgotten how important the safety of the turnips was. So long as Ellie Mae continued to tousle her hair with her hands, he would forget that he had turnips. She had made him forget everything. "What you reckon they're going to do next?" Dude said. "Maybe Love's going to take her down to the coal chute and keep her there all day." Ada, who had been standing on the porch all that time and as motionless as one of the uprights, suddenly pulled her dress tighter over her chest. The cool February wind was barely to be felt about in the sun, but on the porch and in the shade it was straight to the bones. It went straight to the bones. Ada had been ill with pellagra for several years, and she had said she was always cold except in midsummer. I wonder if I can pause this. Yeah, that was how I felt with the salt. If salt touched my skin and it was winter or the tail end of winter, so there was lots of salt all over the ground here in New England, you know what I mean, for the walkways and stuff, for the ice. All right. I'm going to pause. I don't know how to pause this. I'm just going to, I wish I had like some music or something to give you guys, but I don't. But I don't want to stop this stream. I just wanted to I wanted to see if I could go find a dictionary, because I keep coming across these words that I don't know what they mean. And Allie B was good about, like, if she didn't know a word, she wanted to know what it was. So I'm just going to